What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Life Coach Zach podcast. I'm Zach, your host, and I'm here with a very special guest, Esther Blum, integrative dietitian, writer, lover of any exercise you can do in under 20 minutes or less. Esther, how you doing today?
I'm great, Zach. Nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to hop on the podcast today. You're an expert in diet and gut health, and it wasn't until recently that I discovered what gut health was, and obviously it has a lot to do with digestion. Can you tell the audience on a very simple scale what gut health is and how you can be as healthy as possible in the gut?
Gut health, simply, it's not only what you eat, but it's actually the nutrients you absorb across the intestinal wall. So gut health actually starts in the mouth. It starts with chewing. Most people think digestion happens in the stomach or the small intestines, but it actually happens in your mouth. When you start secreting digestive enzymes, you start chewing, and all of a sudden, ding, 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 like the signals go and tell your stomach and your liver to start secreting enzymes and digestive juices and all these great things that you need to start breaking down your food so you can absorb the nutrients and get them in your bloodstream and to their dedicated organs.
Absolutely. So it's how our body absorbs the nutrients and converts it to energy and for our immune health, our heart, all things like that.
Absolutely. And what most people don't realize, there's quite a few things most people don't realize. One is that the gut and the brain are intricately linked. 90% of your serotonin and dopamine are produced in the gut, in the small intestine. So the research now shows, the study of psychobiology where the microbiome or the healthy bacteria in your gut will influence your emotions. They can influence panic attacks, depression. Children who have ADD and adults, ADD, ADHD, autism, have different gut bacteria than people who don't. So most people don't make the gut-brain connection. And then there's a whole gut immune connection because 70% of our lymph nodes line the small intestinal tract. So your gut's really the epicenter of your body. It governs so much of your mood, your sleep, your energy, your immune function, your digestion, your energy. So all of those pieces are super important to great reasons to have a healthy gut.
Absolutely. As far as health and ultra wellness goes, exercise, mental health, diet, it's all so important. And, most people know what foods to eat, vegetables and fresh fish and fruits and nuts and seeds and olive oil and all those things, right? But digestion is something that we're not really taught. And it's hard for us to be intentional about our gut health and our digestion. So what are some simple things someone can do besides eating healthier to have a healthier gut?
You want to start off by making sure your body is in what's called a parasympathetic state. This is when your nervous system is not in a fight or flight state, which is sympathetic, but much more relaxed. So breathing, taking some deep breaths before meals, saying a little prayer or meditation, showing some gratitude for, I always show gratitude for the animal that gave its life to me so that I could enjoy a high protein meal. Some kind of spiritual practice, not eating in front of screens or distracted. As a mom, sometimes I'm guilty of dashboard dining where I'm just in the car gnawing down a piece of jerky because it's just the time I have to do it. But for the most part, trying to sit down and be present and make eating a very joyful experience optimizes digestion. If you go to Europe and spend time there, a dinner is not just an hour, it's hours, and courses are served over hours, and there's talking and laughing and eating and drinking. And, it's a real meditative experience. Here, it's like, how fast can I possibly shove food down my pie hole and get out the door? It's like an uninspired chore.
I am the epitome of the person that eats fast. Every time, whenever I was growing up, my mama would always say, you eat like someone's about to take away your food. And even though I'm really intentional and have a lot of discipline and awareness around the types of foods I put in my body, that's something I really need to work on, is eating more mindfully, right? Eating slower. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say putting your fork down between
Yeah.
bites, you know.
Right. I was about to say, yeah, putting your fork down and smiling between bites and not watching TV and not standing up while I eat. I live in this one bedroom condo and it's only 500 square feet. I don't have room for a dining room table. So I'm either
Yeah.
sitting on the couch with my plate on my lap or I'm standing at the counter. And that's not a way to eat. But what are some ways you think I can be better about eating mindfully besides just checking in and being more aware?
I'm thinking if you hang up your bike and put some bar stools at the counter, then you'll have a proper place to sit,
I should do that.
right? Or
And I
you
have
got to sit on your bike at the counter.
no, that's actually perfect. And I've thought of that, but for some reason
Hmm.
I just can't get myself to do it. So the next question I wanted to ask you is about supplements, right?
Mm.
What supplements? I'll first tell you what supplements I take. I take fish oil, amino acids, omega 3s, and I take magnesium. But what are some supplements that you think everyone should take? I know you mentioned probiotics.
Yeah. So, well, in my practice, I do a lot of really specific testing so that I can tell you exactly what your microbiome needs and your body needs. But for the general public, by all means, vitamin D, for sure. If you think about COVID and immune function, you know, we have so much research to show people with vitamin D levels 40 or greater do not have the same mortality risk from COVID as people who don't. So, certainly getting in the sun without sunglasses or sunscreen if you tolerate and don't burn for at least 20 minutes is great. If not, or you're just working a lot inside, you know, I recommend 10,000 units a day during the winter months and 5,000 a day maintenance. Certainly a probiotic, but it helps to know if you need one or not,
Mm,
or the right type. But
it really just
probiotics
depends
in
on the person.
general, yeah, and a spore based one is very helpful. Certainly, omega 3s are a wonderful anti inflammatory, but digestive enzymes are going to be my other go to. And most of us, especially after the age of 30, are really deficient in digestive enzymes. We have very high stress lifestyles, or, you know, as our hormone levels decline, we tend to make less hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Why is hydrochloric acid so important? Because A, you absorb your trace minerals like magnesium, like zinc, boron, which is great for bone health, iron, calcium, you know, all of those are very important. But also, in the absence of hydrochloric acid, that's when I see everything break down. That's when I see massive bacterial overgrowth or dysbiosis, because you want your stomach to be a cauldron of burning fire. It kills off pathogens, it kills off bacteria. So, certainly taking hydrochloric acid supplements with a meal are, to me, essential, especially past the age of 30. It's just not
Mm.
even a question or
What
negotiable.
what not scientifically I'm asking the question, but what is hydrochloric acid? Can I just type in hydrochloric acid on Amazon and buy capsules of hydrochloric acid or
Yes, you can buy it's betaine HCl
okay,
capsules, and you want capsules with at least 500 milligrams
got
each per
it.
capsule.
Okay, amazing. You know, it seems like
Yeah,
stress is obviously such a discussion and everything, and chronic stress is really the killer, right? The more
yeah.
we're in that fight or flight response, it's sympathetic. Is that what it's called when we're in fight or flight?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
the more we're like in fight or flight response, the less our body's able to digest our food and extract all the
Yeah.
nutrients properly. And the less our cardiovascular system, our immune system, our central nervous system is able to run as smoothly as possible. So, how do you incorporate mental health and consciousness into your ultra wellness and overall well being?
I use, it's funny, I'm doing a meditation challenge right now. It's only between me and myself. But I use Insight Timer,
Hmm.
and I do a nightly meditation. I spend at least an hour to an hour and a half outside in nature every
Oh,
day.
okay.
You know, morning walks are great. Those to me are very grounding. You know, if you live in an area where there's grass or sand and you can take your shoes off and walk around barefoot, that really grounds you, and it neutralizes all of the charged ions you get from technology and EMFs.
Earthing, right?
Um, yeah, it's wonderful. Earthing
Yeah.
and just getting outside, because the light outside, the spectrum is about 100 times greater
Yeah.
and broader than you will get from a commercial light bulb inside, especially if it's LED or fluorescent.
Hmm.
so which are very harsh. So you want to make sure you're outside. It regulates, ideally first thing in the morning, regulates your sleep wake cycle. Even if you just sit outside and have a mug of something hot, and you're just outside looking at the sky, and nature constantly grounds me. Whenever I'm stressed, I go outside and go for a walk, and it just brings me down. It's great.
Absolutely. And it's important when we're looking at nature or we're looking at the sky or we're earthing to be mindful in that moment, right? Is to look at the beauty of the clouds, look at the life in the trees, feel the soil and the foundation of the earth beneath us. And awareness is something that a lot of us lack. And meditation is so important for being more aware of our thoughts and being more aware of where our attention and our focus and our energy is going. So when it comes to like our immune system and our digestive system absorbing these nutrients and converting it to energy or whatever it may be, there's a science and a spirituality polarization, right? Where it's like, science can explain everything, right? Sure, right. That's what a star is made out of. I get that it's made out of gas or whatever it is, but like, why? Like, why is it there? Why is it made out of gas? Like, does it serve a purpose? If it does serve a purpose, what's the purpose? And if it doesn't serve a purpose, then it's really just God making beautiful things, right? So where do you lie on that spectrum of science and spirituality? And if both, how so?
Yeah, I'm polyamorous, man. I I am very much a scientific person, but have a very strong spiritual side. And I have no doubt that the universe conspires to help me. I regularly incorporate the divine into my day and ask for help. I lost my father about a year and a half ago. I talk to him all the time, and he shows me many signs he's here with me. So I don't even question if, I just question when and how it's going to show up in my life.
Absolutely. Where do you think that faith comes from?
That is a good question. I think it's important to connect to a power greater than yourself. I mean, I grew up with a very Jewish upbringing,
Me
and
too.
oh, you did too.
Yeah.
I really loved my rabbi and cantor, and was like, really, I didn't mind, my brothers really weren't religious people, and I don't consider myself religious per se. I'm more spiritual, but I really loved the Sabbath, and I went to a camp that was religious, and the Sabbath was just wonderful, where you unplugged for the day. People would like play guitar, hang out, go swimming in the lake, boating, just talk and listen to music. And that to me was very relaxing and peaceful. I always found my peace there. So I think that's where it came from. But I really started embracing the divine and something greater. I have a good friend who just was a mentor and kind of showed me how to cultivate it, and I really saw the impact it had on my life. At the end of the day, I think it helps to know you're not alone. Being an entrepreneur, having your own podcast, having your own business, it can be really lonely. And so having a partner and having someone have your back is a great way, I think, to just stay rooted and grounded and humble, and constant reminder to serve other people and take care of other people, but also to take care of yourself too.
Well said. Well said. And I was raised Jewish as well. My grandmother, super religious, and my family, pretty religious. I was bar mitzvahed. My brother was bar mitzvahed. And we took it really seriously up until my brother was bar mitzvahed. Then we stopped going as much. But it wasn't until about 5 years ago did I start disidentifying from being Jewish, because religions are very secular, right? This is the right one. This is the truth. This is God, right? Another religion says something different, and there's got to be a commonality between all the religions, and having that faith that everything is the way it's supposed to be, and believing that souls live on forever and energy is there for us to harness and to feel is kind of, in my opinion, the only way to live. It's the only way to live. And I talk to a lot of people that don't have that conviction in God or the divine or source or whatever you want to call it. And I feel bad for them that they don't have that. And you kind of want to show them the way, right? No, you got to believe, like, here, take this crystal, right? It's like, here's a crystal, believe that this is going to bring you healing, right? And then they look at you weird. But I knew from the moment I saw your page on Instagram and went on your website and looked into some of your books that you were a very spiritual person, and we crossed paths for a reason, and you're teaching me a lot already. And we're not done yet, but I want to say thank you so much for your time today, because it's been a pleasure already. So
Oh, thank you for
yeah,
having
but
me.
so gut health. I mean, we can go back to that. I know you get really detailed, and I want to keep everything as simple as possible. So, people, first step, should they go get their blood checked? Is that the first thing they should do?
The first thing they should do is make sure they're pooping every day.
Okay.
Okay. That's like so foundational. You would never leave a big bag of smelly trash in the middle of your kitchen. You'd be like, whew, that kind of so that's not so good. That shouldn't be here. You take it out every day. So when you move your bowels every day, you're evacuating waste products, you're eliminating toxins,
Mm-hmm.
you are excreting hormones that should be gone and not building up in your system
Yeah.
or recycled in your gut. So you want to make sure that you're pooping every day. Okay. That means staying hydrated. That means daily movement. That means getting fiber, flax and chia
Yeah.
seeds, and fruits and vegetables. Very important. Or eliminating gluten or flour products if you're severely constipated. Um, that's where you start before you even get your blood drawn. You look at your energy, your hunger, your cravings, your mood, see how are those doing, and you look at your body composition. Okay. I do prescribe blood tests regularly for every single person I see in my practice. I prescribe, I recommend them, and their doctor has to write the prescription. However, by the time things are picked up on a blood test, they're often pretty far down the road. Somebody doesn't just wake up with high inflammatory markers. It takes time to get there. So that's why I'm like, if you want to keep it super simple, Zach, start with your diet. Think of your refrigerator as a medicine cabinet. Food is medicine. So that means you shop for fresh foods in the outer aisles of the grocery
Mm-hmm.
store, right? You get your proteins, your eggs, chicken, fish, meats, your vegetables, your greens, your broccoli, kale, collard greens, kohlrabi, Swiss chard, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, artichokes, and all beyond. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, parsnips, turnips, the real root
Mm.
vegetables, which are so good as we go into fall and winter. Pumpkins, another great one. And natural fats, avocados, olives, olive oil, coconut oil. You do that for 80 to 90% of your diet, you're not going to have the health issues, or you're going to reduce um, uh, the impact that they're having on your life or the severity of those conditions.
Amazing. I love hearing that, because that is my diet. Every day I fast 16 hours, and I eat an avocado and 3 eggs with spinach and a protein shake with chia seeds and blueberries and walnuts. And the only dressing I use is olive oil. But I definitely need to eat more mindfully. That's something I need to work on. So taking inventory of your bowel movements is the first step. Should be extracting your bile, or pooping. I'm just going to say pooping. Okay. You need to be pooping every single day. Right. And then,
They should look like brown sausages, yes, not like pencil shaped or ball shaped or loose or diarrhea or undigested
yeah,
food. Should just look like brown
brown
sausages.
sausages. Okay. And then
Yes.
from there, get our blood tested. I mean, I'm interested in getting my blood tested, and having you take a look
Yes.
at it.
Yeah. When I test people's blood, I look at everything from vitamin D to red blood cell, magnesium, and zinc. I do a complete thyroid panel, which is about 6 thyroid tests. I look at cardiac risk factors like CRP and lipoprotein A. Of course, I look at triglycerides and cholesterol. And I'll do a complete blood count. I look at insulin and glucose, ferritin, also iron. So I really do kind of a complete picture. And beyond that, in my practice, I do a lot of hormone and gut testing. So I'll look at your stool, not me, I have the lab look at your stool sample. Don't send your stool to my house, please. And then, and then I'll look at urine tests that tell me a lot about what's happening with your production and detox of
Amazing.
hormones and neurotransmitters.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So To
Yeah.
anyone that is listening on Spotify or Apple, we go ahead to Esther, if they're listening, go to estherblum.com, ESTHERBLUM.com. You have 4 books
Yeah.
that are on Amazon, correct?
I have 4 books on
Amazing.
Amazon, and for 7 of your listeners who are really serious, if you're listening to this and you're like, I need to talk to this lady because I want to solve X, Y, and Z, you can go to my calendar at estherblum.com/call, CALL, and get a 30-minute consultation with me where we go through your health struggles and give you 3 customized tools to solve those
What a
struggles.
gift. Amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for that.
thanks. You're
Esther,
welcome.
do you have any questions, or is there anything else you want to leave with the audience before we wrap up today?
I want to leave 2 things. One is find me on Instagram too, guys. Gorgeous Esther. Come hang with me there. But 2 is there's really nothing in your body that can't be healed. Okay. Uh, if you're worried or feel like you're out of balance, you've gone to doctors, you don't know what's going on, you don't have a specific diagnosis, but you just don't feel right, start with your diet. Okay. Clean up your diet, get rid of the sugar, the booze, the flour products, too much caffeine. Get your sleep in order. Okay. You do those things, you're going to feel 75 to 80% better. If you're still not feeling well, then, come find me and talk to me and we'll do some additional tests. But most of people's health issues can be solved by a good night's sleep, managing your stress, and eating real food. It's really that simple.
Yep. Getting rid of the sugar, minimizing the gluten, and then eating the whole foods and staying hydrated. What was the other thing you said that I didn't mention? It was no gluten, caffeine,
Sleep.
right?
Oh, caffeine. Yeah. Minimal sleep. I mean, you're going to tolerate caffeine better in your 20s and or 30s than you will 40s, 50s and beyond. But, and the other thing I just want to say is, with sleep hygiene, the biggest problems I see from health come from blue light, come from people on their iPads in bed and then going to bed. That is like so disruptive for your sleep. Your brain can't possibly make melatonin with all that blue light coming in. So be very mindful of your screen time. Like my phone's off by 8 p.m. every night. People, if they want to reach you, they'll come find you and knock on your door. So shut the phone off, shut off the technology. Your bedroom's for sleeping and sex. It is not for phones and technology.
Your bedroom is for sleeping and sex. It is not for your phones or technology. Esther, thank you so much again for taking the time to come on the podcast today. It's been a pleasure. And to anyone watching on YouTube, I'm going to drop the links below to Esther's calendar and also Esther's website and her Instagram. Esther, thank you so much. And I look forward to reading your next book.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zach.